The Galactic Council chamber shimmered like a celestial cathedral, an orbital ring of translucent glass suspended around a luminous planet. Light refracted through the chamber's crystalline architecture, casting ever-shifting auroras across the walls, giving every argument an almost divine glow. But today, the chamber held no debate. Today, there was only silence. Because the humans had arrived. Ambassador Threx of the Zalquari adjusted his ceremonial headdress, the crystalline strands twitching with faint nervous pulses. "They've sent only one?" he asked, barely concealing the tension in his voice. "Yes, Ambassador. One human. And no escort." Threx blinked all four of his eyes. No honor guard. No armaments. No mech suit, no psionic suppressors. Just one human in a plain gray suit, hands in pockets, humming as he crossed the glass floor like he owned the galaxy, or didn't care who did. His name was Commander Joel Mercer. And that was the problem. Because humans never did anything without a reason. A month ago, the galaxy had been on the verge of annihilation. The Zalquari had incinerated 17 systems. The Ketheri rebels had returned with a vengeance, dragging the Tevril into the bloodbath. Treaties collapsed. Alliances shattered. Entire civilizations begged for neutrality. Through all of it, Earth remained silent. Today was Earth's first word. Mercer stepped up to the central platform, paused, and scanned the sea of alien faces. "So," he said casually, "this is what we're calling a peace summit?" A few nervous chuckles. The Ugari prince wheezed through his translator, "We expect the Earth delegation to present terms." "You may proceed." Mercer nodded. He slowly reached into his pocket. The chamber tensed. Dozens of defense systems quietly activated. He pulled out a peanut. Cracked it. Ate it. "Nah," he said, chewing thoughtfully. "I think you all should start." More silence. Then Admiral Rokov of the Vrishi Collective sneered. "We do not negotiate with planetary infants. Your kind hasn't even mastered neural symbiosis. Why should we care what Earth thinks?" Mercer looked at him. Just looked. A half-second too long. Rokov coughed. Clawed at his throat. Collapsed. Dead. No one moved. Mercer sighed. He was allergic. "I warned your diplomats last cycle, Earth snacks are lethal." Chaos erupted. Drones zipped into defensive formations. Translators screamed. Species howled. Mercer remained still. Calm. He unfolded a small note and placed it on the floor. "Earth's official position," he said. "I suggest you read it before anyone else starts talking." The note read, "We don't want war. We want silence. You start talking again, we end the conversation. Permanently. No signature. Just a fingerprint. Burned into the paper." That was the moment the Galactic War ended. But it wasn't how it began. And it wasn't the end of the story. For weeks earlier, deep beneath the ice of Europa, Joel Mercer wasn't a commander. He was an instructor. "Repeat after me," he told the young recruits. "Negotiation is a pressure valve. The pressure must exist. We are the pressure." "But sir," one cadet asked, "what if they call our bluff?" Mercer smiled slightly. "Then we weren't convincing enough. Silence doesn't bluff, it waits." That was the core doctrine of Earth's new agency, the Silence Corps. No warships. No invasions. Just presence. Their mission wasn't to destroy planets. It was to walk into rooms and make everyone believe Earth could. When the war engulfed the stars, the Corps activated one man, Mercer. While alien fleets counted nukes and neural disruptors, Earth deployed something more dangerous, doubt. 3 weeks before the summit, Mercer appeared on a neutral station in the Sargel Belt. Hours later, a Zalquari cruiser exploded after scanning his discarded luggage. Inside? A rubber duck. 2 days after that, 12 Tevril envoys vanished after intercepting an Earth emergency broadcast. No words. Just static. Hidden within it, a map of the Milky Way, with 27 stars marked. One of those stars had just gone supernova. Coincidence? The galaxy didn't think so. At the summit, with every alien watching him now, recalculating everything they thought they knew, Mercer stood relaxed. Earth didn't need a war machine. Earth was the machine. Its most powerful weapon? Quiet certainty. After the summit, Mercer didn't linger. He nodded, popped another peanut, and walked away. No escorts. No farewells. Just footsteps echoing in stunned silence. The Ketharis submitted a treaty by sunset. Then the Vrishi. Then all the others. And Mercer? He returned home. Taught his class. Walked his dog. Watered his tomato plants. Because for him, the mission ended the moment they blinked. For the galaxy, it was the dawn of a new era. An era where silence wasn't empty, it was Earth, listening. It began not with a bang, but with a whisper that wouldn't die. The galaxy mistook Earth's silence for surrender. In truth, it was Earth sharpening its blade in the dark. 2 days after Mercer's haunting appearance in the council chamber, unease swelled in every corner of the stars. Zalkori war clans recalled entire fleets. The Tevril began scrubbing their internal networks. Even the logic-obsessed Agari activated ancient contingency vaults buried under oceans of protocol. None of them had answers. Only one name on their tongues. Joel Mercer. His legend exploded like wildfire. No newsfeed showed his face, but they didn't need to. His image had become myth, a phantom wrapped in silence, who ended a galaxy-spanning war with a peanut and a piece of paper. Everyone feared what Earth would do next. But Earth wasn't doing anything. At least, not where anyone could see. Far above Io, inside the cloaked orbital station Sentinel-5, the Silence Corps met behind sealed walls and psych-shielded glass. 3 figures stood before a frozen hologram of Mercer at the summit. General Vika Shah, Director of Tactical Oversight, tapped her fingers on the desk. They blinked faster than projected. Dr. Hitoshi Mura, Earth's top behavioral strategist, nodded grimly. We overshot. They're spiraling. Panic collapses diplomacy. If they implode, we lose the board. Mercer leaned in the corner, arms folded. You want me to go apologize? Bake cookies? Vika's lips curled into a smirk. Maybe just skip the peanuts this time. They think you've brain-hacked their leadership. The Zalkori just executed half their ministers. I didn't, Mercer said, voice level. We know that. They don't. Mora brought up a new projection. Multiple star systems blinked red. We need boundaries. Strategic contact. Calculated kindness. If they believe Earth has moral limits, they'll stop clawing the air. Mercer tilted his head. So we become merciful monsters. Predictable devils. Exactly, Vika said. Let them fear, but give them edges to hold on to. A week later, an unmarked Terran shuttle landed on Taraxis Prime's neutral port. No pilot exited. No transmissions. Just one crate was left behind. Inside, 20 liters of Earth water, a compact solar battery, and a printed manual titled How to Rebuild When the Bomb Doesn't Drop. That was all. And that was enough. Taraxis Prime halted all military manufacturing within hours. Other worlds received similar crates. One by one, they backed down. No words. No weapons. Just fear of what might follow. On Vrelith Station, a volatile hub where 5 rival species nearly declared war, Mercer appeared again. This time, no note. No speech. He sat at an open-air cafe, drank tea in full view of 2,000 surveillance feeds, and left after 20 silent minutes. Within 36 hours, the station's factions signed a neutrality accord. The Silence Corps called it strategic normalization, the rest of the galaxy started calling it something else. The human effect. But not all were pacified. In the cold black of the Rosari Nebula, Admiral Trask of the Zalkori clung to a different narrative. He didn't see silence as strength. He saw it as subterfuge. He began assembling a shadow coalition. Rogue Tevril, outlaw synthetic fleets, defected Anchor Dominion captains, all bent on piercing Earth's veil. They called themselves the Resonance. Their mission, provoke Earth into breaking its silence. Make it roar. Force it to bleed. The first wave struck fast. 3 Terran listening posts in the Hell-Ion Arc were hit. No fatalities. Just a message broadcast after each strike. Your silence ends now. Mercer watched the footage from his modest home. His dog, Kepler, thumped its tail against the couch. The sky outside glowed faint red from Jupiter's reflection. He didn't flinch. Didn't even speak. Until he activated his comm and said 3 words. Wake the choir. The choir wasn't legend. It was worse, real, and always watching. Earth's most secret arm. Not assassins. Not saboteurs. Just silencers. Trained to infiltrate systems and unravel them, not with bombs, but with fear, doubt, and elegantly placed truths. One by one, the Resonance began to decay. Starships failed mid-flight. Admirals resigned under mental strain. Synthetic fleets halted mid-attack after spontaneous philosophical debates erupted in their command AIs. Then came a message. A galaxy-wide transmission to every known military outpost. *U demanded noise. This is what it sounds like when stars go silent. *. No explosions followed. Just a single image. Mercer, seated on a wooden porch, smiling faintly, a tomato vine growing behind him. The message burned across space. And then, vanished. That night, one of the Resonance's dreadnoughts disappeared. Not destroyed. Just gone. No trace. No data. No warning. After that, no one else challenged Earth. Because even the bravest among them had learned. The scariest sound in the galaxy wasn't a scream. It was Earth, whispering with its mouth shut. They tried to pull the veil off the void. And the void stared back, smiling. 3 days after the dreadnought vanished, the Resonance unraveled. Admiral Trask's coalition fractured like glass under pressure. Their encrypted networks filled with phantom transmissions, fake system pings, and sensor echoes from ships that didn't exist. Rumors spread faster than fact, of infiltrations, mental contamination, and collapsing command chains. A dozen high-ranking officers initiated ritual exile, believing they'd been compromised. Others simply disappeared without a trace. And through it all, Mercer remained silent. On Earth, beneath the icy crust of Europa, the Silence Corps examined the chaos with precision. Operation Dissonance concluded, Agent Lyra Sol reported, her voice masked through a neural scrambler. The Resonance's coordination is broken. They're locked in recursive security purges. General Shaw looked at Mercer. Care to say something dramatic for the logs? Mercer didn't look up. Silence speaks louder. Mora chuckled. Still Earth's loudest whisper. But the collapse of the Resonance wasn't the final note, it was the beginning of something stranger. Because for the first time in known history, an invitation arrived. From them. No one knew who built the Vault of Echoes. It existed before history, before language, before even memory. Suspended in a gravity sinkhole beyond mapped space, the vault had no origin, no energy signature, yet every civilization, even those that never met, shared legends of it. Now, for reasons no one could explain, Earth had been summoned. Mercer stood alone in the vault's antechamber. The Silence Corps had voted unanimously. If Earth had a voice, it would be his. The chamber did not glow. It resonated. Its walls reshaped in response to Mercer's presence, showing not images, but memories. His mother's quiet strength. A failed mission on Titan's shadow side. Kepler's tail thumping beside a fireplace. These weren't projections. They were echoes, drawn from thought itself. Then the chamber pressed inward, not with sound, but with weight. You are loud and you're quiet. Why? Mercer stood still. Because the galaxy yells without understanding. Earth listens. Then answers. You walk beside giants and pretend to be shadow. Are you not afraid? He breathed once. Fear is a door. We learn to knock. The vault pulsed. Then knock louder. In that moment, Mercer understood. The vault didn't seek domination, it sought meaning. It was a filter for truth, and Earth's quiet defiance was the note it had waited an eon to hear. Mercer stepped forward. And the vault unfolded. Every species felt it. Not through sensors or alerts, but in their bones. Across galaxies, communications fell silent mid-sentence. Entire planetary systems fell into perfect synchronicity. On Vrelith Station, genetically infertile flowers bloomed. On Venari Prime, perpetual storms halted. Stars pulsed in unison, once, and only once. And then, across all known existence, a phrase etched itself into the cosmic background. Earth has spoken. It wasn't a proclamation. It was a pivot. 1 week later, the Galactic Council reassembled. Not in the hallowed ring of the glass chamber, but somewhere infinitely more unassuming. Mercer's backyard. Representatives from over 20 civilizations landed on Earth in cloaked shuttles, confused by the complete lack of ceremony. No guards. No declarations. Just wind chimes. Tomato vines. And lemonade. Mercer wore a faded t-shirt that read * silence is golden. * he didn't lecture. Didn't threaten. He handed each delegate a packet of seeds. Tomatoes, he said. Grow them. If they bloom, we talk. If they wither, you're not ready. Many were insulted. A few were intrigued. But none refused. The Ugari synthesized perfect soil. The Tevril sang to their seeds in harmonic psionics. The Ketheri built biotemples dedicated to germination. One by one, the seeds sprouted. And in those fragile green stems, a new order was born, not from conquest, not from fear, but from listening. The resonance faded, not defeated, but dismissed. Trask was never heard from again. Earth never fired a shot. Never flew a banner. But from that point on, every star chart bore a quiet marker near Sol. Here be listeners. And whenever conflict brewed or alliances fractured, across every species, one phrase echoed first. Has anyone heard from Earth? Because if Earth was silent, the galaxy listened harder. Peace, it turned out, was never earned through louder weapons. It arrived through something far rarer in a galaxy addicted to power, understanding. 5 years after the meeting in Mercer's backyard, the phrase "Here be listeners" became more than a cartographic note. It was engraved on peace treaties, whispered in courtrooms, etched into the subroutines of galactic AI. Across the stars, it served as a quiet reminder, someone was always listening. Earth hadn't built an empire. It had become a compass. Empires no longer escalated blindly. Council chambers paused before passing judgment. War rooms hesitated before launching fleets. Not because Earth would retaliate, but because Earth might not respond at all. And that silence, once seen as weakness, now weighed more than 1,000 declarations. Joel Mercer had long stepped out of the spotlight. Kepler, his loyal mutt, passed gently on a frost-kissed morning, his collar now hanging from a wind chime that rang only in the softest breeze. Mercer taught again, not tactics, but philosophy. Not how to fight, but why to wait. To a lecture hall of species and synthetics, he once said, the universe doesn't need louder voices. It needs deeper echoes. Europa Station became a sanctuary. Not for warships or spies, but for listeners. Scientists tuned into subspace frequencies and neural fields, not to dominate, but to learn. They didn't ask what others were saying. They asked what they meant. The vault of echoes stayed open, but not for generals. For poets. For children. For the curious. For those who whispered before they shouted. those who asked before they demanded. Its walls didn't reply with words. But those who stepped inside always came out changed. 10 years after Earth became the galaxy's moral fulcrum, the first interspecies university opened in orbit. No flags. No anthems. Just a simple phrase carved above the main entrance. Listen first. Speak last. What Mercer had said inside the vault was never recorded. He never wrote memoirs, never gave interviews. But some things don't need to be spoken to be understood. The galaxy no longer feared Earth. It revered it. Because in a universe brimming with conquerors and kings, Earth became the one world that didn't shout to be heard. Moral asterisk power that demands attention fades. Power that earns trust endures. The quietest voices, when anchored in truth, echo the farthest. And sometimes, the deepest wisdom isn't what you say, but how long you're willing to listen. And Earth, at last, had taught the stars how to listen.